First of all, I need guys why I'm not receiving uh, homeworks. I have received probably like half of the class, but half of the classes kind of have not sent their homeworks. And if you remember, I said 3 consecutive failure to send homeworks, we will have to um, remove you from the class. I'll start counting that now because I try to give a chance for everyone, but at the same time I want you to practice and do the everything we do in the class. You should repeat it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to learn so much. It's a lot of volume, easy to miss a lot of stuff. So I will, if you guys don't send me homework from Friday and today and tomorrow, 3 misses, that means that I'll have to remove you from the class. So please uh, take it serious and try to send me the homework as soon as possible. All right. So today we will be talking about uh, conversions, data conversions, and ETL package. ETL package, when you build the data conversion, it's going to be one of the most important factors. You will get a lot of ETL failures when you do troubleshooting. You'll figure out, okay, there was a data conversion issue. It's not a big, like a small errors, easy to fix, but you may encounter a lot if you don't build your packages like knowing exactly what the data type, data sources are coming to your database. If you don't know them, then you have to really handle those different scenarios in your ETL package. We'll be seeing some data conversion aspects of ETL. So let's build very small, very easy table to start with. All right. Let's say I will have 3 rows of data. ID and name, and I have date time column as well, some kind of, and I'll call it as DTM. So that's 1, 2, 3, be above. So let's run this. We'll have a table, something like this. It will have three columns, 3 data types. One is integer, one is varchar, another one is datetime column. So 3 types of data is that's what we need to work with for our ETL package, right? Let's create a table. And that could be just TBL1. Some kind of table. Create it. And where are we creating it? No, not in the master. That's a not good place. Let's say reporting data warehouse. That would be fine. So this is the data table that we have created. Very simple, very easy. So what we'll do now is we'll create another table um, where we will bring data from TBL1 to TBL2. But let's say their data types don't match. For integer, for example, that could be another varchar field as well. And that would be, let's say, 25 characters long. Wildcard name, it's automatically assumed that the name length is 3 because our names are very simple, 3 lengths. So that's why the table that it built was based on the sample we gave, so it's 3. So we'll increase it. And we'll create this table. We're recording, right? Okay, good. All right, so let's execute this. So our goal is to move data from this database to this database, from this table to this table. And we are you going to use SSIS package for that. All right, so this is our ETL solution that we have from the last class. We'll create new package, and then let's call it simplest conversions. That's so why I'm saying it's going to be implicit conversion, because if you see, this is ID column, like let's refresh this database and see the compare those two tables. So this ID is gonna move to this ID column, and this is integer data type, and this is varchar data type. Name is varchar3, but it's moving to varchar30, different data size. So how this will affect to our ETL package when we work? What are some aspects that we have to consider? That's what we will be paying attention today. When data types don't match, what we need to do, or are some ways to fix those things. Okay, so we will to start at the starting classes for today and probably tomorrow too. We will just focus on data flow task only. Data flow task is basically it's your ETL part of this package. So that task does, like I already explained, it does extract and do some transformation and do some loads. Last time we did only EL, extract and load. So today we will have to do some transformation to fix some problems. First of all, let's see. We want to get it from OLEDB source, from a database. So we'll use OLEDB source. So our connection, it's going to be on reporting data warehouse. That's the database we chose. That's where we created our table. And then table or view is fine. So we'll get that from table 1. And let's preview data. So data is looking good. And that's it. And we have columns. We have 3 columns. However we're taking, we're going to call them exactly like it is. We're not going to rename it to anything else. And there's error output. Error output, there's 2 types of error basically. For every column, 3 columns in our case, ID, name, data type, error output component of the source, transformation, and destination, you will see in data flow, they will have 2 types of error and truncation. And that we will talk really soon. All right, now it's not our focus. So we are grabbing data from this source. And now we have to drop it to destination, which is also database. That's why I chose OLEDB destination. I'm going to put it right here. So this one source, this one is this destination, that's fine. And then for the table that I want to insert is table 2. It's the same data warehouse, the same database. We created both of them in the same one. So not too complicated, not to write a lot of, not to create a lot of connections. Just that's not the point. So existing data, we don't have any data right now there. Okay, so we'll do that. And so what's going to happen? First, let's check. We want to check what the data is looking like. You can check the data that's coming at the source, the columns and their data types and information about them. You can get it from every source component, destination component. They have advanced properties. First of all, they have when you touch on anything, you see a properties column right here. You touch to this, to this, to this, they will give a property of that item that you touch. Even a connection string, it will give the properties of that connection string. So if you want to see the properties of this, that's what it comes. And this this field, this is not very much helpful, this properties window. Honestly, you're not going to get a lot of data, information from this. Basically, what table it's coming from? Table 1. What is it? Code page. Code page is, it's basically 1252 means it's non-Unicode data. It's just a wildcard data. That's what it is. And the name, OLEDB source. This is not very much useful information. I'm going to put it right back to its own place. So what I'm going to do instead, I'll right-click on it and say Show Advanced Editor. And right here, you have 4 windows. Connection Manager is what we created, OLEDB source. Properties, component property, this is exactly what we saw right here. That's what it is. It's just exactly what we saw earlier. Column mapping, as we've seen it already. So externally, they were called like this. When we brought them, we didn't give any alias. So that's what it's talking about. But this window is really good, input and output properties. Error output, don't worry about this right now. We'll be talking about only the source output, meaning whatever that's coming from the source. Right here, you can see a lot of stuff. Externally, and once we bring the data into our SSIS package, that's what it is right here. So externally, this ID is 4-byte signed integer, which is integer data type. Name is str, wildcard data type. Date time is timestamp, which is date and time. That's how it is in SSIS. You choose usually timestamp, right? And output columns, you can actually modify some stuff here as well. You can make it like a bigger. You can actually change some data types here as well. Same thing. Internally, when you bring in data, it's going to look something like this. That's what it talks. And so as you saw at the source, I wanted to show you actually the reason why I opened this is I wanted to show you this. Name is coming as 3 lengths. Because when we click inserted data, it automatically selected whatever the length was the longest length, it shows as a column length. But at the destination, when we created, we chose different. The length for it, we chose it as 30. ID also is not an integer in our destination. But here it's wildcard. But at the source, it's different. You can also see the same thing, the source stuff from here as well. Metadata, and right here, ID is integer, name is wildcard, and this is a timestamp, which is date time. All right. So different data type. Does it work? Let's see. Before it passes, let's actually enable data viewer. Okay, page validation. The number of input columns does not. Okay, so what is going on? Mapping. Everything's good. Correct. How about now? Sometimes you have to refresh because when you open, when you move, you may actually break the connection. So refreshing should do the job. So there we go. This is what data is passing through. That looks good. We'll let it go. So 3 rows has passed. No error. Nothing happened. Because if you saw, and we can actually check the destination now, the data that came from here to here was implicitly converted. So SSIS packages can implicitly convert data when it's compatible. When, for example, ID integer became varchar when it came here, and Bob was varchar 3, and it became varchar 30. So they're compatible, and SSIS can handle these situations, right? Very easy scenarios, but it's not always the case. What is the reverse scenario? What if it's too long and this is too short? What will happen in that case? So what we'll do right now is we will switch to data tables. I'm gonna grab so let's truncate one of the tables first. One. I'm gonna truncate the source table now. I'm gonna bring the data from this table to this table. So basically, right here is the 1. Right here is the 2. So, okay. View the existing data, nothing, okay. And preview the data, that's good, coming from the 2. Okay. So as you see already, it says truncation may occur due to, it's already saying there is error. But what is happening here is yellow sign warning is not error. So error is bad, warning is not really, it's not really something that's actually bad yet. It's one step before error. So if you see warning, it does not always mean that your package will fail, but it's basically it's trying to grab your attention to show you the discrepancy. In this case, it's talking about, when I talked, there's 2 types of error. There's truncation, there's error, this error. And that's what it's talking about right now. So it's saying truncation may occur. So let's see if is it true yet? Is it true? Does it really happen or not? Let's run this package. So data is coming, right? And data went through and it wrote to destination. The data got migrated, and SSIS package wrote the data into destination table. And there's the okay, so now we see that here. So this error, this warning sign, does not necessarily mean that ATL is going to fail, but it will give you some discrepancy, which is basically an opening for some kind of opportunity for failure, for error. That's what it's talking about. And we can actually introduce that error right now. We'll write a data into TBL2 that will actually fail this package. That warning is actually warning about this case, this scenario that it's talking about, and that's we will write 1 row of data that will be an example for the warning that we see. So what I will do is I'm going to insert into TBL2. Okay. And so that would be number 4. And the name, I'm going to write some kind of a long name. Anything longer than 3. Hamilton is longer than 3, for example. And I'll use the get date function again, which is fine for the date time column. The purpose is in table 1, name is 3 characters. It can allow our destination tables, in this case is table 1, can allow only 3 characters, and I'm trying to put longer characters to that field. Values, insert into that, DL, values, Hamilton. Okay. All right, so now let's see. So basically, I'm going to truncate this table again. 4 rows has to move to here. This package worked perfectly fine, even though this truncation error is showing us that there is a truncation, and even it's actually talking about the column name was the length of 30 and the destination is not 30. That's what it's complaining about. Let's run this. Now it's failing. Now it's failing. And the failure, if we go to progress, there you go. Reached maximum allowed rows. Right here, truncation may occur. Truncation may occur and could not open. That's fine. That's failed. Error method. Failure. So basically, there's a very brief description. You can just row by row, you can start Googling for every of them and try to read this description. Basically, it has too much metadata information, too much logging about your package. You don't necessarily need all of them. But basically, what it's talking about is at the source, we are seeing a truncation. And now is the time for us to look about these errors. That's error output of the source. Basically, it talks about the data that's flowing in, that being extracted, the E part of the ETL, has some kind of problem with the data that it's bringing in. That's the problem with the actual data. And when you fix this, what you're doing is you're doing error handling. Error handling is a big topic for SSIS, and error handling is very famous, very popular interview question. When you talk about error handling, you have to also mention this step as well about error output and error and truncation and their differences and what they are. So that's what we'll do today, but by itself, error handling is a big topic. We'll eventually see that class as well. But today we are doing very small error handling here. Let's see an example for what error handling is. So there's 2 types of error. One is error, one is truncation, right? When you do, what it's trying to do right now is it's trying to insert Hamilton into 3 varchar, right? So what we need to do is we need to cast this one as a 3. We have to subtract only 3 letters from it or do something. So what we need to do, we have to cast. There are a million ways of handling it, different ways, and you may come up with something else. But this is a very easy first step that everyone goes for. Yes, varchar 3. When you do that in SQL Server, okay, sorry. It works perfectly fine, and when you execute, it will just take the 3 letters, and the rest what happens is it gets truncated. This truncate is different from this truncate. This idea of truncation means it gets cut from this side. This much, the stuff that was that overflows the allowed length, it will be just removed. So only ham will leave. So that's when we looked at our source error, truncation, that's what it is. So when truncation happens, we may say ignore failure, just ignore it. If it truncates, instead of Hamilton, if it puts ham, I don't care, that's fine. That's what you can say, ignore it. Redirect row, that's something that we will not see today. So in the coming class, in the probably tomorrow, what we'll do is we're going to do conditional split, and then we will redirect this that data that's Hamilton to a different row, and we will work some kind of logic for it that's available. That's next step. But today we can ignore it. But so far it was fail component. It was fail. So you chose by default, if something like that happens, fail this package. That's why it's failing when you press debug mode and you run this package. It's failing. You see the error button. It's failing. So why this is failing? Because you chose it that way. It's configured that way right now. When truncation happens, for this ID column, fail it. But in our case, it's happening on the name column. So we don't want it failed. We want to ignore it. That's what we need to say. We don't care if it gets truncated. But also, let's before we move on, let's see the next example. What if we want to create out of Hamilton date time column? What I'm saying is, what if your destination column is in date time format and you're trying to put something that's not date time? What happens in that case? In that case, error happens. So this package, when the data is non-compatible, they don't match to each other, error it. When they are implicitly converged, it can be implicitly converted, then do it, but truncate the part that does not fit. So truncation means when you truncate some part of it, like you cut it off. Error, like when conversion error, basically. That's what it is. It doesn't say so, but basically it's conversion error. That's also a conversion error. So that's why when both of them, it's saying conversion. Data cannot be if data can be implicitly converted, but cut, truncation. How you need to remember, memorize it. So if the data truncation happens, if data overflow will happen, for example, in varchar 30 cannot fit in varchar 3, then truncation. When we try to put, let's say, integer value into date column, then error. So type mismatch, right? That's another good way of type mismatch. In this case, length mismatch. Length mismatch with varchar it's going to be with string data types, right? Then truncation. So you have to handle those two errors correctly. So in this case, we said name. If it's too long, if it gets truncated, I don't care. Ignore it. Okay. So let's run it. Now let's look at it, at the data that's passing. So now Hamilton is becoming ham because we chose it that way. And then that error component, when we handled it, It actually went through perfectly fine, and executed, we see the data now, right? Truncate it again. There are different ways of handling it. Like, let's say there's this error, so you can actually go to the advanced properties and here, externally name. I want it to be 3. And then if you go to here, edit, metadata, you see name is becoming 3. But still, the warning sign is not disappearing. Still, it's not disappearing. But that will work perfectly fine. It is working, but warning sign is annoyingly, it's still there. You should not create ETL packages that has warning signs like this. It's very unprofessional. So you have to handle it. Like you have to get rid of this warning. Like you can ignore it if it's too big package and one site has this type, and if you think that the data is never gonna be issue, the performance not gonna be hurt. I saw a lot of packages that they have errors and they don't care. It keeps going on. But professionally, you shouldn't do that. What you can do is you can actually look at the source query and you can say, okay, like, can I do something else instead? Right? Can I write a query? Select star from TBL2, right? Can I see preview? Preview, okay. So I have ID name DTM. What if I do ID, name, and DTM? But instead of name, what I will do is I'll cast it myself. And I will call it name. Preview it. And now it's all good. Okay. You see, as long as you wrote the source query, it's working perfectly fine. And now your ETL will go and run it. And you are not going to see this issue. So, good. But that's also not an ideal solution for these scenarios, because if you can manipulate data at the source side, when you write your store procedures, when you write your queries, do it. Clean it as much as you can. Yes, that's good, because that kind of a data conversion, the working data manipulation should be done at the source database side. Don't do it inside of your package. If you can, don't do it. If you can, don't use transformations at all, because transformations are extra load. It will make your ETL super slow. It's too much. If you can do it at the source side, any query, do it. But the problem is sometimes you don't have permission to write queries here. You have only the permission to write, to use some kind of store procedures. Or it could be a very complicated scenario and some store procedure is returning this data. Let's see actually the scenario, right? So this is the query that you are allowed to work on. And let's create store procedure for it. Create procedure and give it the name, source table. Yes, that's all you need to do, right, for creating store procedure. Batch execution because debugger request. Okay, so maybe have pressed something. So okay, let's execute it, and we created this store procedure. So we'll go to our ETL, and we have to write the store procedure. That's all we can do, because it's most probably that the data is not just basically select from table. It's possible that it's a lot of joins and using functions and using CTEs and do this and that, maybe some long process. So let's look at the data now. So you can do nothing in this case. In this case, you bringing data as you bring, and then now it says truncation may occur at the source. this and that. So right here, you will have to use transformation in this case. Now we have to create a you have to use some kind of transformation to deal with data conversion issue, like size, type, and stuff like that. That's what we will do right now. So I'm gonna save this ETL package so that when you guys do it yourself, I want you to create it separately and leave it like this for you to kind of revise, to kind of repeat. When you repeat, you want something nice, organized. But in this case, what we'll do is we'll do same thing that we were doing. So OLEDB source, not flat file yet. So OLEDB source, data warehouse, table 2, and destination. So destination, and between them, we will need data conversion. That's what we want to see right now. Okay, destination, let's modify this one too. So we want to drop data in table 1 that has different data type data. So right here it says truncation maker. That's what we need to fix, right? Okay. So let's see what are our options. Okay, so this is data conversion task. Basically, this data conversion is this thing. This where is it? Cast statement, cast convert function. That's what it is. It's nothing else. It's very easy. So you have to choose one of these columns, and then on those columns, you have to operate this function, cast function. You are choosing the column, and then you will choose the data type that you want to apply for this column. So the problem is happening on the name column, and this name column is coming as a length 30. We want to make it 2, and so name output alias would be truncate, for example, short name. Short name. And as you see, 1252 is the code page, which is it's saying it's basically non-Unicode data. We'll do say OK, and then still error warning is not disappearing because of mapping. It's still using the source's name column instead of short name. We gave the short name in the data conversion task, so we just grab it and just map it like this and say OK, and that's it. Warning signs will disappear. One thing I just wanted to, before we move on, I want to let you know, like selecting name is kind of helpful. If you just say name, which is exactly like an input name, it's not going to be a problem, because when you go here, it will give you like this, OLEDB source name, data conversion name. So you can actually know exactly their difference like this as well, right? That's something that I can tell. This is just basic stuff, and it also has a configure error button. That's something we need to look at really soon. Let's see. Let's run this one. And here's the error. What is happening? So data is coming here. There's 4 rows, but error is happening here. So we have to handle error in this step, not here, right? So we go here, open it, and configure error. What is happening is name column that we wrote this cast statement, a convert statement. This is this data conversion is what it's doing is. So what is happening is name is being truncated because of our action. Still, it's failing. ETL is failing this. Why? Because the primary goal of ETL is to be very careful with the data, to not change data as possible, like as much as they can. They don't want you to change. If you change, they want you to do it like you knowingly. They don't want any data on the side to be deleted, to be truncated without you knowing. So you have to make a decision. That's what the purpose for it. So yes, we chose, let's say cancel here for now. Yes, we chose that data should be 3. But it's saying that, yeah, you are trying to make it 3, but the data that's coming is longer than 3. You have to configure that. So you have to do the same thing you did. If it's truncation, ignore the failure. Still, okay? And you did that. Run this. And it will go perfectly fine. Actually, one thing I should have done is right here, let's enable data viewers to debug how data is flowing through. Right? Here, data is coming in 3 columns from here to here. 3 columns, 4 rows. Hamilton is still a long name, right? And we will detach. Now, second one has 1 extra column right here. That's what our transformation is creating, this name. I should have named it a little bit differently to make it, but the point is Hamilton is becoming Hammer. And that is actually in this step, this is in this step, the above step, right? So we'll do that, and that will go perfectly fine, and that will fix our problems. When we use data conversion, when we see any type of data conversion issue, data truncation error, or this and that, use data conversion to fix your problem. But this is just the one way. This is the one way, and let's rename it as a conversion. But there's another way of doing the same thing, and a lot of people love using that way. I want to show you that as well. New package, data flow, and source, which is going to be OLEDB source. We're still using the same source. Same table. And destination. It's saying that it's not connected. So we say, okay, for now, that's fine. Table 1. Okay. So this is derived column, data conversion, data derived column. They're right next to each other because basically derived column, what it is so here, this one will come here. Derived column is it's data conversion plus more things. What I'm saying is everything that data conversion can do, derived column can do whatever data conversion can do, plus it can do 95% more things than data conversion. So you don't really have to use data conversion. If they just remove the data conversion from this ETL SSIS tool, you will never miss that tool because data column has all components and plus components. I have no idea why they created both. Redundancy, using whichever does not affect performance, nothing. It's just data conversion. I guess it's simple, more easier. Maybe that's why. Because the whole purpose of using SSIS is anybody who cannot write code should be able to do data migrations, should be able to create ETL packages that run from here to here. Yes, you have to write some SQL queries, but you can someone else can write it for you and create store procedure. All you need to call that store procedure. Yes, you need to write C# codes as well here, Visual Basic or C#. If you don't know how to write C#, that's absolutely fine. You can create some of this tool, and you can achieve the same thing. So in this case, you have two windows. You have columns that you're working with, and also variables that we didn't start looking at yet. So don't worry about that yet. And you have some functions. These functions are exactly very much similar functions that are available in programmability folder. These functions basically is built in here. There are some mathematical functions, there are some string functions. Left, we saw find string is like a string index, like char index and part index, that kind of stuff. Lower makes uppercase, lowercase, that kind of stuff. You can actually go open it and one by one, or you can check in your textbook. You can Google and see what they are. There are not much of them, just only a couple, just a little bit, but that's more than enough. The purpose for ETL package is not to write extensively very difficult queries. No, it's just basically very easy expressions are a good idea, but that's more than enough. So what we need to do, we have to bring this column, and we basically we have to write expression here, right? This the derived column transformation is used for expression purposes, and we have to do casting. Casting meaning we have a str column. We just want to make the length a little bit shorter. So we'll grab the function and you have to drop it before the column name. So it's a little bit different of way of writing. Syntax is different, but exactly that's exactly what you're doing. You're trying to achieve this function right here. So you're saying that cast this column is varchar 3. So that's what you need to write. So length should be 3. Code page, something that you need to know. If you don't know, go to here, advanced editor, and here input, external input, name. It says code page here, right here. So you can always figure out based on the source what that code page is. 1252. Okay, so basically it got erased. Typecast, etstr here. The length should be 3, and the other one is 1252. And okay, that's good. And as you see now, it's becoming str, length is 3. It's absolutely converting and looking good so far. Okay. And right here, it's showing the input columns, blah, blah, blah. Just refresh it. Mapping. Derived column is the one that you created. Rename it nicely, not like this. Not really good idea. I'm gonna map it with name. Guys, I have to pick up the phone for 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Sorry for interruption. So yeah, all right. So we have mapped correctly. Another thing we have to always remember, data will come here correctly, but then truncation will happen. So we have to configure this error output again here as well. So it says fail, any truncation, fail. So instead of fail, we have to say ignore. Like, but for now, let's leave it like this and let's run it and see if this fail. Yes, it will fail because of the truncation. Even if it's on purpose, it will fail because we have to make that decision ourselves. It should be explicitly decided by the user. Ignore failure. Okay, okay, and then run the package. Working perfectly fine, and it's going through fine. Another thing about the derived column is you can actually, it's right now it's doing add as a new column. Instead of add as a new column, what it's doing, what you have to say is replace name. That's what you need to do. I'm sorry, that's what you can do as well. This is another option, replace name. But in this case, does it help you to fix your problems, right? So if you see when you do replace name, you're doing string 3, but this data length is still staying as 30. It's not changing. When you create as a existing one, this will change because your function will create new column. But when you say instead of creating new column, replace existing name column, what it's doing is it's taking the value, it's making it shorter. Hamilton is becoming ham, but it's putting it back into a column that's 30, length of 30. So derived column will create a new column, can create it, but when it replaces, it just basically creates new value and puts back into that column. So then, so you're not actually fixing your problem. Instead, you're just changing the data. So this not if you do it this way, it's not going to be helpful for you because you will still see the truncation error. So instead of that, you have to do as a new column. And here you go, mappings, everything's good. What it's saying? Did I new name? Add new column, CR column. There are some mapping errors. Okay, what's the mapping error? ID, only DB source. So this one doesn't exist. That's what it's saying. So then we have to use this one instead. And that will solve it. And truncation may occur. Only DB, derived column. It is a new column. Okay. This function has, let's change it, refresh it. 3. When we change the same stuff, that's what happened. Okay. There we go. This should not be the case. Okay, so sometimes you will see this type of stubborn stuff. So what you need to do, you need to delete now. You have to recreate the same thing. Let's call it something else. Short name. That will be name. Okay. Typecast. DTSTR. SSIS can be a problem a lot. That's why I don't like SSIS tool, but it's used. It's very popular. As soon as you know how to handle all of them, you'll be perfectly fine. And yeah. And we forgot to configure the truncation because we have created fail and truncate, ignore this failure. And also let's actually create a data viewer to understand what's going on. The name, we use short name, and mapping is also using short name. That's perfectly fine, and run it. So this is at the source. It's coming as a long Hamilton. Detach it. And the second one is still Hamilton, but the calculated column, the short name column, the derived column, which is calculated column, is shorter now. Basically, this is what's happening, and it's perfectly working fine. So this is, we will rename this package as derived column transformation. All right. Here we go. This reporting, you always have to rename your stuff. Example, make them readable, shorter, nicer. Okay, this was another way of doing the same thing, but let's see some other ways, some other different scenarios, which are also require you to actually work with data transformation, data conversion issues. So this is the data so far we have worked with. We will what we're going to do right now is actually let's work with this guy. There we go. Copy with headers, and we will create an Excel sheet, and we'll try to pull the data from Excel sheet. Paste it. So when you paste it, when you file and save it, let's say we want to go to documents or desktop and ETL. Okay, download ETL. That's what I'm putting right now. So it could be a book one, that's fine. But when you save it, because you're using 2012, most of you, you will almost everybody has this problem with installation. I have the same thing on my system too. I have to reinstall the Windows system and apply some drivers, like reinstall some drivers for especially I believe it's analysis services. It's access driver. Some drivers needs to be installed, otherwise you will have some issues. So try to save it in 2003 workbook format, not the newer format. Newer format, you will see a lot of issues. It's installation. You can Google. I can give you a link, the link how to do it. Basically, I have the same thing on my computer right now. Whoever installed my Windows system, it's one is in 64-bit. The Office system is on 32-bit, and they collide, and basically Excel 2007 and later version. I was not able to use with SSDT. That's 2012. You will have the same issue. For now, just to learn this SSIS tool, let's not waste time with installations. If you have time, you can do it, but just to save your time, save your Excel sheets in 2097 and 2003 workbook, not the template, the workbook. And book one, save it. And it's on sheet one. If you have several sheets, you have to select that as well. But we'll go to our data, our 2012 SSDT, and we will say new package. New package will be Excel source. Source. And new data flow, new source, Excel source, okay. Right, and new, right here, I have to remember where I put. You see right here, different versions. So 2007 and plus, you have to have the right drivers and you have to install them. There's too much pain. You will not do that in your at work anyways. It's the infrastructure team will do it for you. They will do installation, all the stuff. You just have to create your SSIS package. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to downloads, ETL package, and book one. Okay. And then here I have to select the sheet one. If you have several sheets, you have to select the right sheet in here. So you see here, and let's preview data. Preview data is looking good correctly. And say okay. And what now we have to do is we have to put it on our OLEDB data source, not the source, OLEDB destination. Because we know the data came from that place, right? From Excel source. So what we'll do is we're gonna connect them. Destination is gonna be the reporting DB, reporting data warehouse. And the table is table 2. View existing, there's already data. That's what we're trying to move. There's already exactly the same type of data. Say okay. But we see some error. Number of, that's fine. We do this. Mapping, because their names are correct. They're automatically being mapped. Okay, that's okay. There's still column name cannot convert from Unicode to non-Unicode. When you work with Excel source, you will always have the same data conversion issue. All the Excel, if they have any data, they usually have some kind of a conversion issue. If it has a wildcard type of a data, it will read it as a Unicode. So you have to convert that as well. You have to make it as a STR. So let's look at what's happening. This is coming as a DTR4, this is coming as a date, this is coming as a WSTR. W means it's not Unicode and its length is 255. So that's what we need to fix right now. Data conversion. Here. Name is the problem, and we make it as a str. And here's the length. Automatically, it will assume it's the length 255. So basically, we know our destination. We have to select that correctly. It's 30, right? On a table 2. So we have to call it, and it's correct code page. Everything's being correctly mapped. Copy name is the name. Copy usually that's how transformations rename them. So we have to use the correct name. Okay. Also, I saw the date that this column DTM is coming as a date. So let's make it as a data type, single timestamp, database timestamp. Okay. All right, and you can actually enable a data viewer here. And also let's configure the errors. If there's any truncation we want to ignore, sorry, it's not happening there. So here's the problem. What is the problem here? The validation. Oh yeah. One thing we forgot to do, actually. Oh, okay, good. So in your data, it's because you're using 2012, you're using 32-bit, but this is on my system on Windows, it's assuming is at 64. So what you need to do, you have to go to your package, you have to go to your properties, configuration properties. You'll see a debugging. Right here, run 64-bit runtime. So you have to change it to false. Okay. Once you change it, that problem should disappear. Okay, so that's working. And my data viewer showing me some data. The copy of DTM is correct. Copy of name is correct. And this package is working perfectly fine. But I can think of right now is mapping is taking DTM is coming from the wrong place. That should have been correctly mapped as well. But other than that, everything is working perfectly fine. This is how you configure your Excel. If your Excel, with your Excel, the computer will try to automatically assume what those data are. So you have to use this Excel all the time. You have to use some kind of data conversion stuff. This data, it can be derived column transformation. It can be data conversion transformation. Whichever you use, you have to use it. Okay, we'll save it. We'll go back to here and we'll copy this again. Copy with headers. And now we will actually navigate. Oh, this is on this side. Navigate to our ETL package. Right here, what we'll do is we'll create one flat file. Flat file is a text document. So let's call it as a source flat file. And this source flat file, I'm going to paste it. So as you see, from when I took the data from SSMS, when I put it into the flat file, what it's doing is it's doing a tab delimited file. It's when you press tab T-A-B, tab button on your keyboard, that's what it does. You see, 1, 2. You see, I'm gonna do Control Z, Control Z. Basically, I will create this. I will say cancel. I'll save it. Basically, that's what it is. Data is delimited. Data is accurately delimited, but it's using tab delimiter. Okay, and we have 3 column names on top, and the rest is the data, right? And we'll save it. Let's see that type of data as well. That's going to be flat file source. That flat file source also will require you to work with some kind of data conversion stuff, but you don't have to use transformations. You can actually, with data the flat file, the connection manager will take care of the most of the stuff. Flat file source, because flat file, as name suggests, let's go back. This is flat file. This is very easy formatted file. It does not have any much properties. Its size is 1 KB. Look at the Excel. Excel has 25 kilobytes. It has a lot of things going on. The format is very rich. But flat file is very simple, naked format. Good thing about it is it's going to be super fast to load, to extract data, but you cannot do much about it, you know. That's why ETL, what it does, SSIS tool, what it does is it has created some powerful connection manager just for flat file. It can do some, not really powerful, but like it has data conversion aspect already built in, really good. Because we know when we bring the data from flat file, the computer will read all data as a string, one big string. It does not recognize automatically data types correctly. So that's why when you work with source, which is flat file source, your connection manager will help you to do data conversions. You don't use all like a lot data conversions direct column. You may use them to do some difficult stuff, like some more complex scenarios, but the general stuff it will take care of you. So here you have to browse to your place where you saved it. So it's inside this ETL source flat file. That's what it is. And it's automatically detecting everything. It's saying column names in the first data row. Yes, that's true. If you have text qualifier, meaning like some of the data might be in single double quotes, that's very rare scenarios. Don't worry about it. 1252 non-Unicode, blah blah. Oh, it's delimited file. Yes, it's delimited, but the stuff that you need to do, the conversion, all that stuff is right here in the columns. Actually, it's in the advanced. In the columns, you will see your data and you will see the right delimiter that you used. In our case, we use tab, keyboard tab. It's automatically finding correctly. It's possible some of them are, let's say it's semicolon separated. If I refresh it, it's putting everything into one column because it's not really semicolon delimited file. It's tab delimited. So you have to use tab and refresh it, and you will see exactly the data that you are seeing. Advanced column, if you see everything that it's pulling in, it's putting 50 for the character, and it's seeing it as one column. Everything it reads, flat file, it thinks it's just a string. It's just a wildcard data. Whatever, it's ID, date time, all of them same. So you basically can actually do changes here, right here yourself. You can change them. Because it's flat file, this thing is already built into the connection manager. But let's say we don't change nothing. We just bring the data like that. If you have some null values, empty strings, you can select that. That's what something will look later on. Don't worry about it. It has error output, same stuff, columns. But we didn't change the file, I mean the data types, right? Let's try to bring it to destination. What happens? Destination is, again, the same destination, reporting data warehouse. Same table, where we got the table data from. So that data should match there, right? When we say that, you see this issue, the mapping issue. There you go. It says truncation may occur. Why? Because every column is 50 and they're not correctly modified. So what we need to do, we have to modify this flat file connection manager. Will help us to edit all that stuff. So open that, go to advanced. So ID, we know it's this 4-byte it's the integer. Name, we know it's 30. And date time, we know it's timestamp. Database timestamp. Okay. Say okay. Now we have to refresh it. Just refresh, double click on it, say yes, and say okay. That's all we need to do. It just basically refreshes everything. Okay, let's align it. Format, align. Now, what is the right format for it? Line center. That's good. Okay, and we can actually implement the data viewer and see what data is moving forward. There you go. This is our data. Everything is correct. And detach, it goes through, and it goes perfectly fine. It works perfectly fine as well. So if you're working with flat file Excel, with Excel, you have to use some kind of data conversion transformation. It can be data conversion, data or direct column. With flat file source, you can just use the connection manager itself to do a lot of conversions. If it's just OLEDB databases, depends on the data that's coming in. If you write the query at the source, write your query correctly so that you bring the data in a correct format to your destination. Because you know the destination, how it is. You have to write your source query, right? Rewrite your source store procedure. If someone else has written that store procedure, if that store procedure is being used by different ETL tools, then you don't have much choice. Then you can actually do your transformations inside your ETL and do that. So that's also something to consider. So today's homework, you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ETL packages till tomorrow. That's gonna be homework. So if you didn't send on Friday, you'll have six ETL packages to send. If you didn't send, if you failed to send 3 homeworks consecutively, you will be removed from the class. I ignore error as a select. I'm still getting Unicode error. Can you explain? Shahzad, what kind of source are you working on? Is it Excel? Shahzad Alaberganov, I cannot hear what you're saying. We can actually chat, Shahzad. Can you send me your screenshots through Telegram, and we can continue from there. Like we can work on it there. Let's stop recording.